Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Can you see me? Everything decent, right? Decently placed and all that stuff? Awesome. Hello, Dan. Hello, Wizards. We have quite a few very awesome things to show today, and I'm just going to kind of jump in, show everybody who jumped in early. Hey, what's up, John? But we are going to start today with the production version of the Genesis shell, and we will definitely get to the other ones because I think those are pretty exciting too. Hey Jordan, so random question from Jordan. Do I think the DSi XL is good? You're gonna hate my answer. Try it for yourself and make your own decision. And that is not a cop out. That is no disrespect meant. I genuinely think it's whatever's most comfortable for your hands. For me personally, I liked the smaller one better, but to each their own. All right. So for anybody that wasn't on the other stream, I'm gonna give a very quick run through with this, and if anybody who's in the chat wouldn't mind help me update people who come in after this. But a few weeks ago, I tried a pre-production version of this, which I thought was beautiful, but it wasn't as clean, it wasn't as clear as this because it was pre-production. It was meant to make sure that the molds were okay, everything else was okay. So now I'm going to finish this off, and because of the kindness of a very, very, very awesome viewer, they sent this in to use for the gut swap out. And then this one, along with the other consoles, is going to Russ Lyman to paint and have very awesome things done with them. So I'm just going to start by doing a basic Genesis case swap with this, and basically do it as you would expect for a production version. Hey Matt, thank you very much. Justin, thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very, very appreciative. Let's jump in with this. Flip the sucker over and just have at it. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. Well, Matt, every single piece of this is going to be reused. Every piece, not a single thing is going to waste here. And in fact, even if we have extra screws, I have Genesis consoles missing screws, so everything will be properly used. Oh, Dan, yeah, I am genuinely looking forward to seeing how this Famicom shell looks. This is another pre-production, so it's not going to be as clear, but since we have the Genesis one here, you'll be able to see right next to each other to see what to expect. But for me personally, my Famicom is a test console, so I'm just going to tell Martin to just not send another one after, as long as this fits right, because I think that's all I'm going to need. But we'll get to that one step at a time. Yeah, Matt, I'm weird about wasting stuff. I don't know. Maybe I grew up a poor kid. Maybe that's what did it. But like, I just returned something to Walgreens for $1.25 while I was getting something else. I didn't waste the I didn't waste the gas just to do that. But on the flip side, I was already there, so I was like, yeah, I'm not wasting $1.25 on something, and something that somebody else could use too. It's like a booklet or something. So yeah, nothing goes to waste here. In fact, even that PlayStation I smashed a couple years ago, every piece of that was either broken or I used a good piece to swap with something else. So yeah, still really upset people, but whatever. It was fun. I did it in 1,000 frame per second slow motion for science. So what's everybody up to on this Monday? Hurricane prep. Ooh, yeah. Good luck, my friend. The weather's been so weird. It rained in my backyard this morning, but not my front lawn. The last time I'd ever seen anything like that was once when I was a little kid, probably like 8 years old. And then a couple years ago in New York City, I was out in my balcony and I saw a wave, just like a wall of rain, come down the street. It just happened to be going in the exact direction. And that was incredible. But it was basically maybe one other time I'd seen something like that, but it was just kind of a weird weather always interests me. What CRT did you get, Matt? Ozzy said probably gonna play Batman on my Model 1 Genesis. Awesome. Pablo bought two new Sony PVM 1353 MDs. Oh, that is awesome. I hope you got a great deal on them. They're very good monitors. Noob guys waiting for a Model 2 triple bypass modded system to come in. Want to see how it compares to a VA7 triple bypass before getting the board fixed. I actually think they're going to sound identical as long as everything's in the same condition and all that. Um, Matt said they got a KV20 FS120. Oh, that's so the KVs are the flat glass panels, right? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I thought that's what those were. Yes, yes. Okay, so this is a VA3 motherboard, which is cool. Uh, not sure what happened here, but I think I'm just gonna desolder this one just to kind of just to make sure that there's nothing weird on this. And also, we got the new heat sinks, and I also got that Arcticlean or Articlean, however you want to see it, so we could check out what that's like on those. So that's going to be pretty awesome. New Picasso wants to do at least 2 stages on Wario Land. Awesome. Jordan Matic, probably Matic, I would think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Looking at getting a laptop cheap so they could put Linux on it and test it out. So the only suggestion I will make, I've done this a bunch of times for people. Um, you can get more speed from Linux, and especially if you're going to do command line stuff, like if you're going to put RetroNAS on a laptop, anything is fine. But if you're actually going to use it to learn, um, you don't need a fast one, but definitely spend more than $10 on a laptop because it will hinder your ability to learn just because you're going to be slowed down at so many different points. All right. So for this, I'm gonna do a couple of things. I'm also going to test this out, which I was just talking about on a Q&A. Okay. Nabob deals. That's pretty funny. So, one, thermal material remover. Emulsifies and removes thermal compounds and pads. See instruction on back. So, let's see what this is. Saturate the thermal pad or compound with several drops and wait 30 to 60 seconds. Gently wipe to completely remove thermal material. Repeat if necessary. And then the second one is use Articlean 1 thermal material remover to remove any thermal pad or compound prior to this product. Apply several drops to the thermal mating surface and wipe it gently with a lint-free cloth to dry. Okay, so I think we're going to need two things then. I think here's our lint-free cloth that we're going to use. So basically this or a microfiber towel or anything, but I think we're going to need basic paper towel for the first. You know, Reluctant Hero said they have a KV-24 FS100. That's cool. I really want the FV 20-inch series, and if anybody is in the Connecticut, New York area, I will completely trade for something that's probably better, like a really nice 24-inch or something. The reason I need all 20s is for apples to apples comparisons. So comparing one tube to another, one would be all the same size. Basically, gonna just dip my desoldering gun in this. Should be a quick and easy. Come out and it's still in there, so I got to use the Voltar trick and move the rest. I know it sounds counterproductive, but it absolutely works. Take one more second here. That back together. Did it break off or pop off? No, that snapped. Damn it. Well, you win some, you lose some, huh? I wish I got that on camera. It's at least almost worth it if it's fun to watch on stream. Okay, that actually came right off when I added the new supper to it. Slightly off my game. I must have missed it. Jordan, Intel Core 2 Duo 64-bit. If you're getting it super cheap, absolutely. If you're not getting it super cheap, you're definitely not going to be happy with the speed. Okay. So, Pat, I'm using the plastic bag it came in for this because whenever thermal paste is involved, stuff's going to get goopy. See the thermal paste still left on the bottom of these right here. So let's see how we're going to do this. Take number 1. Jordan, that's 149 Canadian, right? I would if I were you, I would just look around. Because I've gotten some very, very, very good deals on laptops, just kind of asking friends, checking around, and seeing who's got what. It's not a bad deal. You're not getting ripped off, but you might be able to get a better deal. Wait 30 to 60 seconds. All right. We are waiting. Patience is not one of my strong points. Yeah, Steven, this is a Model 1 VA3 donated by Matt in the chat. Yeah, Jordan, the interesting thing about laptops is the two things that you're never going to be able to change within reason are the processor and the keyboard. Now, yes, some processors are socketed, you could upgrade it, but you're never changing a Core 2 Duo to an i7. That's impossible. It's not like a desktop where you could swap out the motherboard and keep the case and the hard drive and everything else. Um, and the keyboard you could never change too. So that's the one thing. Like, a lot of people ask, like, what's the best laptop to get? Go to a store and type on all of the different keys, and then figure out which one is the most comfortable to you to use. That's the advice I always give about this. This board looks in pretty decent shape, other than that LED thing, which is a super easy fix. Gotta love the capacitor from the factory. Sega is absolutely notorious for that. Yeah, VA3 is non TMSS, so you're going to get excellent audio. You're going to get no Sega boot screen. It's going to go right to the game. However, the video is going to be kind of messy. So we're going to maybe I'll use this one for a different kind of bypass we were talking about that keeps composite video. Maybe we'll give this a try. But overall, this should be just an excellent choice. I'm going to flip this over so the liquid in the thermal compound doesn't get everywhere. And now, number 2, apply several drops and wipe gently with a lint-free cloth. Let's see. Yeah, so this appears, I know I've only used it once for 10 seconds here, but it appears to be much better than just using isopropyl. Whenever I just use isopropyl, it seems to take a million swipes to clean it up, and it never really fully cleans up. So that's cool. I like that. Let me very carefully take all of the thermal paste related stuff and move it off of this. Go wash the residue off my hand too. Do Genesis consoles typically have heat sinks? Yes. It was that me. This is the heat sink. This piece of metal that I took off before. Um, this is generally what you'll find on them, and I believe we can get away with using a smaller one, which is what we got here. So we will be testing this, of course. Okay. So this comes with thermal pads and these heat sinks. I think the thermal pads are probably fine, but if I bought Arctic Silver, might as well use it, right? Anybody in the chat disagree? Steven Schneider, so later model ones technically had cleaner video but poor audio. Yes, exactly. Get this stuff all over my hands because then it'll get on whatever I put it on. So, all right, no objections from anybody in the chat. So, well, Steven, check out the links in the description because wait till you see how this thing looks once we get everything on. That how much thermal paste to put on is always a challenge because you want to make sure once the heatsink gets on that every inch is, or every millimeter is covered, but at the same time you do not want to put too much or else it'll goop out, and in some cases it might actually be detrimental to the whole thing. So uh, all right, let's give the first one a try. No, I didn't put all of the thermal paste on. It was very gently, very carefully squeezing out the tube. Okay, heatsink number 1 is on. Let's go with heatsink number 2. You don't use the whole tube, but you're really living life to the fullest. Back in. All right, let's get the other one on. Okay, I got thermal paste on myself again, but this is all working, so let me just make sure to get it off my tools before I continue. Okay. So that's how the heat sinks are looking at the moment. Let me yeah, back over the sink. 1 second. That for the record, that's not just hand washing OCD. That is from a lifetime of getting the tiniest little dab of thermal paste on your hand, and the next thing you know, you look up, and every tool you have, every surface you have, has a tiny little dot of silver on it. So, yeah. Hey, what's up, Monty? Okay, so, couple of things that we learned last time. these clear inserts are very fragile, so we're going to need to do a very, very careful job cutting this, unlike last time. Oh, let's take a look. What do we have here? I think Martin may have sent me two of the same ones instead of the two different kinds. Any here? Oh, wait, no, I speak too soon. I think he must have sent me extras for the last one. That's what it was. Okay. All right. What we got here? Yes. Okay. Perfect. That lines up with everything. So, yeah, exactly, Daniel. Robin the Fox would recommend switching to Arctic Cooling MX4. It's better performing and isn't dangerous for it to end up on resistors and whatnot, because Arctic Silver 5 is capacitive, MX4 isn't. That's a pretty neat tip. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll definitely look into it. So let's see what we got here. If I needed to. So let's start with this and see what we got. I can do this without cutting myself. Ugh, that's going to be tough. Let me balance this right on the wood here. That's also the good thing about when I use these wire racks and I use just pieces of wood on the top. If my hand slipped and I gouged that out, I'm out. If I even cared to replace it, I'm out $5 for a piece of plywood as opposed to a whole new tabletop or anything. Just being super careful so I don't destroy it like last time on stream. I only got one that'll fit this configuration, so. This side. Stiga, what's up, man? Good to see you, my friend. Nacho Sonic. Yeah, I will be showing the purple one in a bit. Let's cross our fingers and hope. Okay. All right. I think I got this one done without cracking anything. Now let me get the other side. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I didn't screw it up royally this time. Let me get this out of here. Dr. Claw, what's up? All right, so let me try to get this one in now. So did everybody see Stika's video about how Sega managed to get themselves into anime pop culture? Because I enjoyed the shit out of that one. The only things that definitely bugged me, the round Master System button bugged me, but where they had the Sega CD attachment for the Genesis, like, it was on the front, not on the side. That bugged the hell out of me. Just trying to work in this razor blade very carefully. Every time I do stuff like this, I think of Larry from Ammo NYC and just seeing how patient he is sometimes with a plastic razor blade and like just put on some headphones, listen to some music, take your time. I don't have any of that patience, so I'm trying my best here. Felt something give just now. Let's keep trying little by little. Okay, okay. Slowly back and forth. Cross your fingers, don't crack anything. All right. So now let's take the cover off and see if I cracked it. Pickle Pickle, give me 1 second and I will show you exactly what this is. Okay. The other side. Okay, I didn't crack anything this time. That's shocking. So, let's swap these around. That's still decently on camera. Yeah. Here is exactly what that is. Put this insert on here, like that, so that it fits in here. Actually, I think we could put that in afterwards, because I remember it's the same BS as always, even with original shells, where you got to wiggle it in order to get the controller ports. That was definitely not something that was just in the Retro Gamer Store. That was just as annoying as original. Not something's not going in all the way. This. I think the capacitor's screwing with anything. I think it's just getting the controller ports to pop into place. Okay, so the power button seems to be in place. A lot of the things seem to be lining up, but the controller ports aren't quite there, which means I'm probably doing something. How bad is TMSS sound on high definition Model 1 Genesis? I'm not sure what you mean. You want to just explain it a little different? Hey, what's up, Ian? Labels for the various connectors? No, not on. But I mean, with a clear shell, you kind of want it just to look neat. You look as clear as you can, expose as much of the insides as you can. Ian couldn't get the back left corner of the motherboard to sit all the way down in theirs. Well, let me just see one thing here. Are the controller ports going in, or are the holes something up with the holes? Does it even line up to test? Probably. Okay, so it is going in, but it's just a bit of a snug fit. So that's fine. That just means I need to kind of smush it in a little bit. But we tested, so we know that that's what it's okay to do. So, and everything fell into place perfectly. I was just being cautious because I didn't want to manhandle it and crack another case, but I just had to push those in a little bit more, and that's all it was. Ozzy, sound of Model 1 consoles with TMSS in it. It's fine. The VA7s are the only ones that are kind of bad. If you wanted to remove any excess noise, you could triple bypass it, but it really isn't. They're great as is. Okay. Put this in real quick, make sure it all... Yeah, all right, it all does seem to line up pretty nice. Let me, Oh, the buzzing sound when TMSS starts up. I mean, that is noise floor. So you're going to get that on all analog consoles, and it's going to be way louder on white screens. So, okay, so far so good. VA3 motherboard is in. We have case screws, we have those, we have the 16-bit, which I have an idea of how I'm going to try that now, based on my failures from last time. So let's just get these screws back in. I always start with the cartridge screws. Ozzy said they make sure to take it all apart and contact clean everything every once in a while, every couple of years. But unless you live in a very dusty area, I really wouldn't worry about it. Certainly not that much. Interesting. So the other heat sinks were here. I guess I forgot to show. The other heat sinks are here because the original heat sink would not have fit exactly right. Where here? Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, because this piece it would bump into. So you could cut it like I showed last time, but I don't know. If you leave that original heatsink, you also cover these components, which means you cover more of the visible area of the board, which is kind of neat. So I definitely want to try it with this. I've cheaped out. I need to buy one of those thermal imaging guns. Artemio got me into those, and I was like, oh man, that's another rabbit hole I think I'll put aside for a while. But it seems like a worthy investment for the channel. I just need to find an excuse because they're a couple $100 for a good one, right? Raw Talent Art. Yes, I do. I absolutely love these shells. And the real reason I love them is because of stuff like this. This wonderfully donated Genesis that's got a bunch of scratches on it. There's no way to really fix that unless you want to paint over it, which Russ Lyman will be doing, by the way. And what's coming later on in this live stream, that. So, yeah, we'll definitely be going over how to restore those awesome ones. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay. Blow duster on the volume slider every few months. Yeah, that's probably a worthy thing to do. Okay. Around the controller port are in. I guess I'll do one more here for the headphone port. If your Genesis is missing screws, excuse me, what you're going to want to do is just check all of the connection points. So, like where you plug in the cartridge, you need these two screws, definitely. And then where you plug in the controllers, that's best. And then when you plug in the headphones, that's also a good addition as well. So if you're missing screws, that's what you should do. I think I'm missing just one screw on this one, so it's not a big deal. Monty, I vaguely remember seeing what smoke does, but I don't know. Remind me. All right. So also, right here, we need the reset button, we need the power button, and then we need the cartridge door stuff. So let me slide this over. Man, even unfinished, how cool does this thing look? What's the little separate board that hangs out the motherboard called? I just call it the power supply board, but that could very well be wrong. So definitely don't quote me on that. Okay, so we learned this last time. You just pop out that one. You just push those little pins in, and then that should come right out. good to go on that. Although probably want to retro bright that or do something. Paint it. We'll figure that out after the fact. But that's just, we could just put that in for now because that's really easy. Get it to pop through. Okay. And we learned this last time. In order to get the power switch bracket out, we actually need to cut, which drives me nuts to do. But as I showed in the last stream, we were just able to super glue it right back, and it worked perfect. So of all the things to cut, this is the least of my worries ever, because it's glued on, and it seemed to glue right back on when we were done with it. A piece of plastic just shot across my room. No, Matt, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. And I'm sure I could just tear this off or cut the middle, but just in case we want to do something else with it, every piece of this one's going to be saved, except the plastic weld that I'm cutting off, but I think y'all know what I mean. It's always so hard to do stuff like this at an angle that you could still see on camera. There we go. Beautiful. That came right out. That's the bracket holding it in, which we'll save. And the other thing we're taking out is this piece. Okay. So what's cool is when Russ goes to sand this thing down to get the scuffs off and to repaint it, wherever they replace, they'll just grab their original as well. So that's kind of cool. I'm not, although I do hope Russ does something kind of neat. Like I think those would look great red or something. But I'm not the artist. Russ is, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I know what I'm doing. Okay. Right. So we have power button. Okay. That should just, I don't think that has a direction. I think that just kind of, maybe it does. Okay, that's the direction. That's funny. So let's see what else we got here. If anybody was on the last stream, this thing's coming last, and I think I figured out a trick. All right, so this one right here. Top. And I'm going to grab a small screwdriver just so I don't put too much. Got this. Oh, I'm glad I didn't try to use the power. This one's a lot thinner. Have I gotten an in-person look at the clear NES shells? No. And in fact, with Martin's permission, every time he sends me these, I just do a live stream. I'd rather be honest and show you. And I especially enjoyed, a lot of people didn't get it last time, which, maybe it's my fault for not explaining right, but I also really like to show the difference between a pre-production shell that has not been cleaned out, that still looks great, to be honest, and a production shell that looks brilliant. I think a lot of people were like, oh, that's ugly. Why would anybody want that? Well, it's not done. It's pre-production. So that would go on here. However, we have these. And I think, unlike the originals, I don't think there's a side for these. I think they just kind of plop in, and then you add the spring. So let's just give that a try. Now shred a 30JX and turn it to a Neptune. Wish all the ancillary parts were clear as well. Yeah, but I mean, tooling on each and every one of these has got to be a lot of money. So I agree 100%. I also understand what it would take to make that happen. And these things are already expensive. Not overpriced, but expensive. So okay. That looks neat. That looks like it lines up. So let's carefully screw these down. I'll do the LED in a bit. We'll worry about that later, because I think I'm just gonna have to take 2 wires and kind of just do it myself, because I wanted to remove what was on there. But we can at least see that the LED is here. So I'll go back and do that in a bit. You know what I just realized? I was so easily able to line up the volume slider with the internal thing now, because you can see through it for the first time. That's so funny. So this thing just looks beautiful. I mean, very, very, very cool. So let's see. I think I should put it together, put the sticker on, and then let it run with the RetroTink 5X for the whole rest of the time that we're doing this stuff, just to test out heat. So let me very carefully start getting all this stuff together so that I could do that. It'll only be 1 second. Case screws. Heatsink screws. You gonna line up the sticker in one go this time? Matt, that's what I'm gonna do in a minute. I'm real nervous. I'm kind of half procrastinating a second. Ian, if one of the cartridge doors hangs a little low, try bending the spring, or try moving it into a slightly different spot. Like try flipping the spring around or something like that. It's certainly a trick that I used to use on a bunch of the stuff that I would do. It doesn't always work, but it can. All right, so I have all my spare parts aside. All of these are definitely still being used. Let's. Anybody know what this is for? Nope. Hmm. Is that for like holding this piece down? Oh, that must be it. That's got to be it. Glad I didn't just skim over that. Martin, hey, thanks for joining. I didn't screw anything up yet, Martin. This has gone much smoother than last time. In fact, the hardest thing I've done so far is try to take off the stickers for this. Daniel said, these streams always convince me that the clear shells look so much better than I imagined. In my mind, I always think the smoke shells look better until I see you put the clear together. Yeah, my opinion changes with every one of them. every time I do one of these, I like one better than the other, and I never found a pattern. It was never like, oh, I always like smoke with this or clear with that. It's really just got to be your personal preference and also how it's going to look next to the rest of your consoles. Because I definitely imagine a scenario in which you look at, I'm going to make this up. Let's just say you look at the clear and you go, oh, that's so perfect. I love it. And then you sit it next to your consoles and you're like, all of my other consoles are either smoke or darker. Like smoke would have looked so much cooler, or plugging in with accessories. So it's really got to be up to you on whatever, for whatever your setup is. Hmm. Try. Not getting that screw in that easily. Maybe I was at an angle? It's certainly possible. Yeah, I'm not getting this down too easily. Yeah, I still got some space to go. So let me just try putting some back pressure with the palm of my hand. I hope I don't break anything. Take it down all together. Yeah. Well, it's helping, but it's not going in all the way. Hmm. Well, I'm going to leave this as is for now. It's not like this is going anywhere. Now that the screw's in, it's not going to completely back itself off. Um. Oh, wait. It's like the IO shield of motherboards. How many people have gotten 3/4 of the way assembling their PC and then realized they didn't put the IO shield on? Yeah, that power plug isn't going anywhere, and it's especially not popping off now with the main thing there. So it's right. Martin sent us some new screws with this as well. Clean up some more of this stuff. Save these for Russ for the other ones. With new plastics, it's always hard to tell what's all the way down. It's always a challenge. So yeah, This piece for the power base converter. Hey, Shadow Mask, how's it going? Yeah, I have not even powered it on yet. Probably can't see it. It's right off camera. Ready for some love. All right, let me unscrew these. Better to forget a piece with only 2 screws in than with all of them. So I unscrew that all the way, huh? This piece, just a simple little screw down terminal that you put in here. There, and that allows you to screw down the power base converter. Get this back all into place. So much easier with a clear shell on it. All right. All this into place. Okay. Is that in? Yes. And over here, yes. Yeah, all right, we are all good. So I guess I'll start in the corner this time. Well, I guess I should start right back where I was supposed to in the first place. All right. Come on, get in there, Screw. There we go. Okay. So remember, because this is a brand new case, it's going to be the first time you screw down these self-tapping screws, it's going to be harder than normal. So you want to make sure you do it by checking for separation. If you see the case separate, you got to tighten it down more. And when it just stops separating, you're done. Hey, the real Phoenix. Last one. I think it's the last one. Is there one more screw hole that I'm missing? Yeah, last one. All right. And that sound you heard of the screwdriver skipping in the head is the last thing you want to hear. But it came out perfect. This is great. Let me shine some light on it so you can see a little bit better. Hey, Kevin. So that came out cool. Front switches. That would definitely be better. Ooh, that's kind of stuck too. Bet you if I cleaned that and retrobrighted it would be a little bit better. All right, so now the moment you've all been waiting for me to embarrass myself is upon us. Pretty much. Let's try this one. Be just like the original Genesis. So what I'm going to do, clean up some more of this stuff real quick. Anybody remember these from the 90s? I think I'm going to try the silver one to match this. And I have some ideas based on my massive failures from last time. I think I could do all right. So let me grab a paper towel real quick, clean this off. Great. Replicant. None of these third-party shells have perfect fits, and they scratch. No, they don't. And this one fits pretty darn perfect. So if you're talking about the knockoff ones, yeah, definitely, but not the Retro Gamer Store ones. I have absolutely seen a bunch of other shells in the past. Some of the low quality ones, exactly the way that you're talking about, but not these. All right, this out of the way. Here is the secret weapon that I forgot last time. Let's see if my theory is correct and if I could do this on the first shot, or if I'm just a moron. So this is the one with the oh, okay, so this yeah, you go past there. There we go. All right. I was wondering if it's the kind where you have to peel off the top or not. So, what we're going to do is take double-sided scotch tape. I'm going to put it over the 16-bit part. Now I'm going to take the logo that I would like and very carefully peel this thing off on this side and then stick it to this double side. Well, I don't know if I need to. Yeah, I don't think I need to. Let me try it. Y'all ready for this? I screwed this up so badly last time. So, 16-bit down, lining it up with this. Okay, that came out perfect. So, what I then have to do is very carefully pull off the sticky protection on the back. Oh, 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 I got it with my nail. Oh, careful, careful. All right, all right. Everybody hold your breath. Push it down where out the sticky stuff is first. Make sure it's lined up. Okay, we're almost there. What do you all think? Well, let me try to get an angle so you can actually see it. Did I do okay? Here is it next to the original. Now, hold on. There we go. Now, here it is next to the original. It's a little harder to see because it's clear, of course, but I think I did okay. Matt, yeah, I'm sure you could put LEDs in it. There is one here that I just need to directly wire onto the board. I just want to do that with a I want to add heat tubing and make it look really nice, and it would probably be for a boring stream. And there's a few other things I really want to do on this stream anyway, so I will save that for another one. And now, right? So this guide is basically this tape is stuck to it, which is fine because you're really only supposed to use it once anyway. But let me put all of the leftover Retro Gamer Store stuff in this. I'll also give that to Russ for when he does his other ones. But that would have been for the Mega Drive, gold, silver. I think this is all coming out pretty cool. I think the only thing I didn't do as well as I could have is rubbing down over all of the letters a little bit better to make sure that they stuck down. That way I wouldn't have had to have realigned the T. But all in all, I think that's a million times better, especially if you were on the on the last stream and you saw how bad I screwed that up. Okay, extra Retro Gamer Store stuff is in here. We have piles of stuff for Russ. I should be seeing very soon. A whole other Genesis for him to paint. Bunch of Retro Gamer Store extras. That's pretty cool. I'm digging that. So let me grab a power supply and a cable. Which actually, Matt was kind enough to ship with it. So let's test this sucker out. And if it boots, then I want to leave it on. Maybe Virtua Racing would be a good one. And just leave it play at the attract mode while we're working on other stuff. Virtua Racing. Let's get all tinked up here for a minute. Yeah. Peppy Poppy, just let the glue be on for a few days. That'll make the seal permanent. The glue of what? The 16-bit logo? That actually seems pretty solid now, and it looks great. But to your point, I wasn't planning on messing with it. Okay. HDMI plugged in. So I'm gonna switch us over to the Tink view for a moment. Okay. Let's go to composite. And what do we got? Nice. So what I'm going to do... Okay. So let me move this over. Actually, I have to unplug the HDMI cable for a second here. That was intentional. I actually didn't break something for once. So the Genesis console is now moved out of the way. See it froze? That's why I wanted to get this in position before working on the other one, in case I jostled the cartridge like I just did. So let's try that again. It's a no TMSS Genesis. Okay, I am going to go toss out the big pile of garbage I just made. If anybody joins the chat, please let them know this isn't just a looping Virtua Racing stream. I just want to make sure that we get a couple passes of the attract mode, and then I will move on to the next very exciting one for me, because I have an experiment I want to do that I'm probably going to make another ass of myself. Okay, we're back. We are back, and we are on to the next. As you can see, Virtua Racing was just playing in the background, so that's going to just keep looping. So let me get another... all right, actually, you know what? Let me flip back to Virtua Racing real quick. I'm going to snag the bubble wrap out from under this Genesis. I'm going to try to do it without jiggling the cartridge and freezing it. All right. I think I'm successful. George, that's a completely fair opinion, except with so many cases like these now, if people do like the clear and they have good quality cases, you could buy those. Or you could go to people like my buddy Russ, who I wanted to get on today, but he's busy. But here is what we are doing next. Look at this yellow turd. And now we're gonna bring some new love to it. So thank you to Retro Games Plus for putting this aside for me, so I could use an ugly example in this. Start a new garbage pile. All right, ext port, and let's just start unscrewing. I don't know if you could hear it in the audio, but there's a pop when I'm undoing these screws because they've been in so long. Oh, that one didn't do it. I guess it should charge that screwdriver, huh? Okay. It's not at all the worst I've ever seen. Dust balls, no roaches. I might run outside real quick and blow this off with some compressed air. But I wanted to start with something weird. Something I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if this is a really bad idea. But we're going to test it out anyway. All right, so let me put these aside. I gotta get my little screwdriver. Thanks for swinging by, Daniel. Out. I'm trying to get this plastic cover piece off, and I think it's just this tab here. Okay. Both sides, I think right here as well. So here's my thought, and this might be super dumb, but I'm all right with that. Tell me what you think. Since this is already yellowed, do I try to paint it with a purple marker? And then if I screw it up, I would have Russ Lyman painted anyway, so it's not going to be a total waste. But let's see how this looks. Let's at least see what the markers look like next to this, and we'll do a test painting on the bottom. $10 for these damn markers. After I'm done, I'm going to give them to my nieces, but I hope they're worth it. Okay. That's the single point. No, that's not going to work. That's definitely not going to work. I thought brush tip marker, I thought this was going to be more like painting on. And it is not. Yeah, that would look absolutely terrible. Well, I hope my nieces appreciate their new markers because these fuckers were expensive. Yeah, see? Useless. Useless. Well, okay then. All right, Russ. We're going to have to figure this out then. Maybe we could find paint to match. Because it's not like this is going to be bad. I mean, we've seen what happens when you put the yellowed fronts in these. It's not the end of the world. It just doesn't look as nice. I really do hope Martin someday offers these for sale, though. That would be really cool. Just these pieces. But and once again, I know this is going to get annoying, and I apologize, but the Genesis shell I just showed is production, and these next two are pre-production, so they're not going to look the way that they would look when you receive them. So if you see scratches or they're not as clear, please don't think that is what you're going to get. It is not. I guess I'll just snap these back into place. Okay. So this is interesting because this is going to be an original version that has the bigger heatsink and has the big sound module. So we're going to see how these fit. I've never done one of these on this. Can you dye it instead of paint it? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I could try to see if I got paint somewhere. But when I run to... Actually, you know what? I hate to be rude and do this, but I think I'm going to go blow this out outside in my shed so I don't get all of this inside the office. I will look for paint out there. I will be back in probably 2 minutes, but maybe let's see what we got here. All right, maybe you all wouldn't mind being patient checking the virtual racing screen. Thank you all so much for your patience. Aw, that's really nice. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Kevin. Retroactive. It was a worthy wait, though. My wife came to the rescue. Switch over here. we got paint stuff now. And also, this was way dirtier than it seemed at first glance. So I'm incredibly happy that I went and did that outside, not in here. I'd have been breathing that in for the next couple of days. So let me try this again. And we have a couple of choices of paint. And I want you all to decide which is which. So let me kind of pull this in view a little bit. So that's the case. And we have this color purple, which it was leaking, so it came out here. So that's actually a really close match. A really close match. We also have this one. I think that's way too light. So does anybody have a preference? I actually think this one is the one to go with, though. $2 for horns up for Bob the RGB metalhead. Thank you, Sasquatch in time. That's awesome. What part is being painted? Just this plastic strip, which I will now pull out. Somebody said just try squeezing the parts together. I got big fingers, so I don't think that's not going to work. We need Terra Onion to come here with her little fingers. It's a micro SD card joke, not a Terra Onion joke. Okay. Oh, Chad. Excellent question. I didn't even look. I will look right now. Chad wanted to know how the paint colors look compared to the power or reset buttons. That's a good call. I guess I could unplug that from the top. Okay, so this would be the piece that we're painting. That looks much closer to the buttons than this does. But this looks closer to the shell. The joy of console painting with Bob Ross GB. That's funny. Well, I am terrible at painting, so this is going to be funny. Once again, though, I am going to try a spot in the back, and I'm completely expecting to completely screw this up and have Russ Lyman repaint it for me. So I'm leaning towards this one, but if the chat says this one, I'll do it. So I would assume that's how this paint looks dried. That's a pretty good match. So, okay. Matching with the buttons. Probably should have warned you all for that. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. Let's try a little bit on the back and see what happens. Just a happy little controller port. I don't like the brush strokes. I have another idea. about one of these? No, that's just a stupid idea, huh? No, that wasn't nearly as dumb as I thought. Okay, well, that's surprising. So let me clean off the plastic, and then let me also try to clean off the purple from the back and go from there. Which do I prefer, the white clear or the purple clear? Like I was talking about before, I would prefer whatever matched everything else. So while I haven't asked yet, I have a strong feeling this one's going to be going to Destiny FOMO because purple's her favorite color, and she's got a bunch of other purple stuff. So I have a feeling that that's going to be a perfect match at her place with the rest of her consoles. However, I don't know. For me personally, I would want the smoke SNES and the clear Genesis, and I don't know why. I wish I had a real answer for you all, but I don't. So, me. This is so funny. I thought this was going to be a dumb idea, but it already is kind of looking cool. And the best part is, I was really considering giving this to Russ to paint to match with the purple shell anyway. So if I screw it up royally, I'm still gonna give it to Russ to paint. So yeah, the reason I didn't go buying spray paint is because I just that would be something that I'm not definitely not prepared to do on stream. But I would have to spend quite a lot of money in spray paint to try and find a color that I liked. Whereas buying that pack of markers for $10 that it didn't work, that I'm going to give to my nieces, that seems like a totally fine way to waste $10 as opposed to wasting $30 in spray paint. Wish I figured out it's a good way to hold this down. Maybe be like that. As you could tell, I don't paint anything ever. So painted walls in my house, did touch ups and doors and stuff, but never artistic. As you can tell right now, it is not my thing. If you were on the guitar stream, I guess guitar really isn't that much my thing these days either, but I still love that, so whatever. I feel like if we're gonna have to deal with brushstroke marks, we should at least make them uniform and kind of like I wanted to do this, you know? Was there any surface prep? No. But that's kind of the other thing is if it works, awesome, and if it doesn't, this I wouldn't want to scuff it up or do any kind of sanding to do surface prep. I would want this to be as crappy as possible so that when Russ does it right, it'll come out looking a lot better. So either way, this thing's probably getting done twice, but I just thought it would be a fun thing to do for the stream. And who knows? I mean, it might actually dry fine. Probably not, though. So, if anybody here has painted plastic before, obviously, whatever paint I have in here, I have to wash that out. So this is wasted. So if I have a chance to use this, I would like to. So is it better to like goop on a little bit more now, or wait like 15 minutes and then go add another layer or something like that? I'm just going to try to fill it in now, at least to the point where I don't see too many white spots underneath where the original plastic was. Give it a few and add another. Okay. So here's where we're at right now. Make sure I don't have any purple on my hands so I don't just start touching purple onto things. Okay, cool. We're going to put this all the way over here. I guess it's just off camera, but sweet. All right, so while we're waiting for that, let us continue disassembly of the original. Matt, they already have. They beat you to it. Clint collage. We're literally watching paint dry. Yep. There's been a couple advancements for the non one chip consoles. However, it's a lot of it got killed by the part shortage, and a lot of the other ones aren't consistent across every model. But we'll see. There should be something coming out relatively soon, but I've heard that before. Kawaka wants to know why the dust flap and controller ports aren't part of the kit. Well, I think Martin might still be on the stream, so maybe he could add a little bit more to it. But every single piece of plastic that you mold is is going to be a tool that you need to purchase in order to make that happen. It's going to be very, very expensive. So it's one of those things where I don't know if it was always in the budget. I don't know if he thought people wouldn't like him or something. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good one. So when you're taking apart an SNES, there's only two types of screws on the inside. The coppery looking ones, brass, whatever you want to say, are one size, and the silver are another. So you don't really have to worry about making sure they stay where they're supposed to. All right, so this one I'm going to be leaving off because it just covers up the design. This is an SHVC CPU01, so this I believe is one of the originals, which is kind of cool. Doesn't have the best video, but far from the worst. Yeah, well, also with the dust flap, Martin had sent me this pre-production case, so I don't think it came with the dust flap. But once again, this was kind of like a fun teaser for all of you. This wasn't supposed to be like a, purple case final production run thing. So we'll see when we get it out. Oh yeah, one more screw. Oops. This is the SHVC copyrighted 1990 board. Yes, yes it is. It's exactly what you were talking about right there. So, something that I never got around to that I said I would in the last SNES Clear stream, sorry about that, was replacing this voltage regulator with one of the fancy expensive $10 ones that supposedly does not need a heatsink. But they were out of stock everywhere. Everywhere. So, and they've been consistently out of stock. So I'm just going to leave this one in, and this might not actually be completed today, if you will, because the dust flap and because of a couple of other things. So let's just kind of get this together as is. Oh wait, I always forget always. So underneath the metal, this is the mounting screws for the non-existent Super Nintendo CD drive that was never released. I guess in if it's a Super Famicom, you could connect the Satellaview, and that goes here. Also, the back port is soldered onto the DC jack. So I definitely agree with not including the rear cover because I think that could just cause more problems than good, to be honest. So we will put those back in. Okay, Martin said oh, that's right, that's right. For the CPU01, I have to cut a few tiny guideposts. Thanks, Martin. I think I remember it in the last stream. Yeah, exactly. Here and here. I think I did this on the last stream, but forgot to just do it. I would have figured it out as soon as I started started screwing it down. Let me grab my snips. Okay, so me one. So if you have the original motherboard and you're wondering why it isn't seating perfectly, that's it. That's all it was. Those two little guide tabs. So let's see if it sits better now. I think there's more up here. I think there might be one more somewhere. Lucky for us, we could take a look through the bottom. I think that was mostly it. I think I just have to I think I have to just shave this one down a little bit, a little tiny bit more. Yeah, it's barely even noticeable. Okay. I guess I'll start with the I should have started in the first place with the cartridge screw. With the other two longer screws. I'm actually kind of glad the battery's dying on this, so I won't have to worry about having too much torque on the new plastic. Vinicius, when I dusted off the console, did I take the slot off to clean as well? You mean underneath this? No. But that shouldn't have made a difference. You were able to, well, I guess we'll figure it out when we turn it back on, because this is going to have to come apart anyway. But just to show what they were talking about. Also, George Street wants to know if I've streamed any of the Game Gear mods. No, I loved my Game Gear growing up, but I'm not really a handheld gamer anymore. And I like watching Tito do those videos and streams, so I'd rather leave that with him. Yeah, this looks fine. That's kind of the other thing I always try to avoid is letting these pop out. Damn. Uh-oh. It's been so long since I've taken one of these ports off. I forgot where this extra piece goes. Is it right on the top? Huh. I think that's where that goes. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good call though. Worth looking at, especially because we were only two screws into it. Oh, that's right. Those are through the case screws. Oops. Actually, I'm having an issue with one of these posts. I think that's something might be slightly misaligned here. Let me and remember too, we're talking about brand new plastic here. So even though this is a prototype, you might run into centering issues like this because screwing it down, everything's new, the fit is new, it might be a little snugger than you're used to, and that's all totally fine as long as everything gets worked out. See? That post right there just wasn't completely flush. Now it should be fine. Let me test that screw just to make sure. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I was wondering why things looked slightly off. I don't think handhelds are dead at all. I think I think it's just a different generation using it a different way. I think what really killed dedicated handhelds for the short term were cell phones, but no one's really come up with a great solution for that. So I think that's why the Switch is popular. You see me slip? Luckily, I got lucky and just hit the ground plane. So the other thing too that I noticed about these is you just want to make sure that the motherboard isn't flexing because I think the spacers were measured, including, were measured to be the same as the original, which included tolerance for the metal shield. So you want it, so that the motherboard isn't flopping around, but that's it, not really any tighter. Oh, and I put this one in the wrong spot. What a dork. Okay, just not moving. Funny, screwdriver is definitely dying. See if I can grab new batteries at some point. Okay, just snug. Motherboard's not moving, not moving. You know, switch back in. Nacho Sonic, the RF shield, I'm not going to bother with because I don't think any interference should be introduced. I think it'd be way cooler to show off the insides. And in fact, at some point, I'm going to, when they're back in stock, figure out a way to get rid of that. Although I'm not sure how that would work with this post, but we'll find out in a second. Okay. In fact, I think I gotta let me look for batteries real quick. Do I have any left in my Eneloop set? We shall find out. Perfect. Okay. Also, this is required. You cannot boot your Super Nintendo without this. I have made that mistake a few times. It was always embarrassing. I don't think ever on a live stream, but definitely at some point. All right, and that post isn't long enough to reach. I don't think the screw is either. Down. Yeah, because the original came all the way up here, and this screw isn't going to fit. So I think that is just going to be a spare screw. And remember, this is held in by this screw, and it's not really going anywhere. So I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Also, my little trick for these, don't put this in here. Let me show you a little trick for making this work better. John D, which project do I prefer, case swaps or soldering? I don't know. I kind of like them both, to be honest with you. They each, although depending on what I'm soldering, sometimes things just really get so boring for me, and other people think it's relaxing, and it really just depends on my mood. Okay, so I got the little spring already into this piece, and now I'm just pulling it back. Here we go. So, still drying a little bit, so let me finish transferring stuff over to the top, and we'll add another coat in a minute. So, the extension port. Okay. I can't remember if I did this last time. I don't remember what length each of these screws were, so I'm going to take them out and leave them in order, just in case. They all look the same, but, better safe than shitty. Completely forgot how to get these out. That's pretty funny. Mildly embarrassing, mostly funny. Okay, so you pop the top pieces off. Martin said for the extra audio board, there's a post on the top shell to screw it. There's some extra spots that you need to cut for the space of the audio board thickness. That I will get to in a second, but thank you for reminding me. Hey, Hector. Yeah, I think I might have seen the other piece last time, which I think might be partially why I'm kind of confused about this one. Is there another? There must be another screw. Ah, there's another screw. Of course, there's another screw. That makes sense. Hey, look at that! When you unscrew the screws, it comes out. All right. Don't let it beat me. I think I need my little pliers for this. Let me it's the advantage of wheel racks. Cutters out in case I need to trim that. Okay. Now we could remove this, and we just put this right over, I believe, that position in the middle. We're gonna move these over. Matt. 3 out of 10 scream. Too much screwing around. Uh, oh yeah, the deterioration, Dwight, of the originals is just terrible. Definitely good that there's better options now. I think I was trying to do this with my fingers, but I think probably using the pliers is going to be safer and quicker too. Look at that. So these pieces can stay here, and it's actually kind of cool that they're not yellowed, so that if there's another broken console or something that needs these pieces, maybe Russ could keep these for the good one and paint the yellow ones or something. I don't know, but that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put this aside and move this here because I know it's gonna fall out anyway. Okay, purple on purple does look pretty cool. And let me get this one in place as well. Be very funny if I put the power in backwards or something, but nope, good. Okay, this back. I think I vaguely remember this from the last stream. In order to get this held down properly, yeah, okay. I had to like hold that into place, but now it seems fine. I already lifted that screw in there, all nice and handy. Okay. I like it. Let me put it back together. Don't forget the second coat of paint. Yeah, well, I'm going to do that right after this because there's one more thing to show you all I'm excited about. Yeah, and it looks like all of these screws are the same size. So, not worrying about that now. This back, it's kind of a pain because it's kind of hooked around. Cool. Still enough springiness in the spring. This here with the washer. Cool. All right, everything's looking good. So, see what Martin was saying about needing to trim something off the top. I don't know, Martin. This thing looks totally fine. Maybe I just misread you, because if you're using the case screw is going to the top case and the bottom is going to be the other thing that holds that board in place. So maybe I just was reading too quick. My apologies, Martin. I was, screwing and reading at the same time. But I really don't think you would need this other standoff because you have these two pushing down on it, holding it in place, and you have the other screw holding it down, and you have the connector on it. So I think we're good to go. Other than, of course, um, oh, you know what? Yeah, all right. Let me leave this off for now, but I'll put this over here, and let me put another coat of paint on that other one. I think it's coming out neat. Maybe it's one of those things like when people write shitty songs, but they absolutely love them because it's their song. Maybe that's what I'm going through right now. Because this is my purple piece. I love it, but everybody else is looking at it going, that's dumb. Why did you do that? Oh, the extra coat is filling in all of the brush strokes. So as long as I don't do something stupid like let it goop up in here, it's actually probably going to be probably going to make a big difference. I know you all might be wondering why did I just do the inside of things, so that when you put it on, anything that you see go through it isn't reflected in like in case you can actually see any of this other stuff at any point. I don't think you can, but I'm here. I got extra paint in the brush. Why not, right? And any other painters? Should I go leave this in the sun to dry while I am? It's not a very sunny day at all, but while I'm working on the final thing that we're going to be showing off today, or is that a stupid idea? Really funny if I just use like a mini paint roller, but this is actually coming out awesome. To the point where if this comes out really good, I might. Ooh, all right. We'll have to talk about that last. Do I paint the cartridge door because that matches the top stuff? So I actually, now that I look at it, I don't think that's going to be a good idea. But we'll have to see when this is all done and over with. Oh, it's coming out so much cooler than I thought. Oh crap! That second coat. That second coat. Leaving outside depends on humidity. Hold on, I bought one of those things. Percent humidity at the moment. Um, Hair dryer. I don't. I mean, y'all see my hair. Do I look like somebody that owns a comb or a hair dryer? Uh, also, good point, George. All right. Well, listen. I'm gonna take a risk, and I'm gonna leave this in not a sunny day. It's not a hot day. I mean, the sun's out. I will be right back. And I guess the good thing about painting something, if I leave it out in the sun to dry and it just destroys it, we put another layer of paint over it. So small advantage there, I guess. All right, so these case screws I will no longer need. Put that with. Outside can leave dust and dirt. Yeah, you're right. You know what? Let's take a risk. I just risked looking like a total ass painting something purple on stream, so we're having a risk taking day. Do that just out there. There's nothing sharp. Ow. Yep. All right, I'm excited for this one. Bam. Look at how yellowed and ugly that one is. Martin just wanted me to confirm something. Oh, okay. Okay, Martin just sent me what I was missing here. Thanks, Martin. Let me grab that back. And you know what? I should have done this while I went outside. Let's just check out Virtua Racing. Still working. And there's heat coming off it, but no more or less than a normal Genesis would. The nicotine flavor Famicom. That's funny. Okay. Let me just take a look real quick. So I think that Martin, can you correct me if I'm wrong? This plus right here, that's what I'm cutting off, right? Let me see if I could zoom in. That material that's on top versus that which is smooth, that's what I'm cutting. Those four little pieces. I'm sure I would have realized that after I started trying to screw it down and it wasn't flush, but I'm assuming that's what you mean. So, yes, okay, cool. Let me just do that real quick before I forget, because I will forget. My cutters. Hey, Prague, thank you very much. Oh, this is super easy. Super, super easy. Awesome. Well, I'll just drop that on the floor. That'll be in my foot tomorrow. When Jose was here last with Artemio and Rollman and Asher and Ronnie, Jose dumped a thing of screws on the floor to try to find one that fits what we were working on, and he started laughing, and he was just like, about a month from now, one of these screws is going to back itself up out of the rug, and you're going to get it in your foot. Bam! Cruz got you. Okay, that does fit more flush. Cool. So let's dig into this then. Oh, look, it's a hint of almost not yellowing underneath. Screw this sucker. Okay, hook this sucker over. Well, I guess we don't. Oh, I forgot. It's been a while. I did a review of this one. This is a board. Let me put a link in the chat. Actually, this is a board that is a no cut mod that gets you a power supply and a video and audio output. Let me drop that in the chat so I don't forget. Name of that board: the Back Office. There we go. Here we go. All right. Okay, so this is going to be tricky because we're going to have to move everything over, which I guess is fine because it'll give me time to let that SNES thing dry. I think all of these screws are the same. Case screws and internal? Oh, that's cool. All right, good. Always makes things much easier. I'm assuming that the cartridge screws are going to be longer. They're a little different, but they're also slightly different colors, so not a big deal. Okay, so you see how the wires are curled around the post here? I'm gonna make sure I'm careful about that. And then final piece of these two. All right, so let's flip it over and start putting stuff in. So this one's obvious. Also obvious. As long as it's, yeah, that looks right. And okay. All right, so let's just take. That was real dumb of me. But so you could sort of see the yellowed one from the inside, but I don't think that's going to be that big a deal. Let me get this all back in. Start bolting stuff in and seeing what we think. And this. I think I need my little screwdriver again here. Very carefully. Yeah, and by very carefully, what I did not mean was snap the post off. I will have to glue that later, but that could be a lot worse. And then the final one, this should just come right out, right? Yeah, okay. So, well, oops. Let's get this stuff bolted in and then figure out how I could fix my stupid mistake. So same thing, because this is a newer piece of plastic, there might be a bit snugger fit in certain places, which is totally fine. So I just kind of had to wiggle that button on the power button through the hole, but totally normal. The board I just linked, George, was one that I tested that was absolutely fine. The problem is this Famicom has a bad motherboard revision, and I'm constantly getting bad interference on it. I think I showed that in the post. It's been quite a while since I did that, but so I think a bigger difference is going to be what motherboard revision you have, but that seemed fine. There was a couple other people working on some other, like their version of that exact same type of board, not a clone, their version, that was going to go about it very slightly different way. So I don't know if I would say it better, but different. So that's something that you might want to look into. I don't know what the release or expected release time is, and if it's not on Retro RGB yet, it hasn't been officially announced. So if you were looking for something on the shorter side, you might want to just get whatever you were planning on getting anyway. So, Famicom lovers, this power cable goes in the side, and then the controller cables go into the slots, correct? And grab that out. That curls around that post to hold it in place. That falls in. Something like that, correct? I just took this out, but I couldn't remember where that power board was. Everything else is looking pretty cool, though. I'm gonna keep. I'm just gonna keep bolting it in. Cable through. Okay, so far so good. Let me bolt these in and see where we're at. Any other fat guys on the stream? Am I the only one that uses their gut when they want something, a soft pressure on something? I think that's going to be a universal fat guy trait. We could use our guts for everything. Keep you warm at night. Screw in your Famicom shell. I guess if you're stuck on Tatooine, you could always cut me open and sleep on the inside. Was Tatooine the? No, I got that wrong. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, so I'm sure I just screwed those planets up. Hoth, Hoth. George, I'm a skinny guy. I still use my gut for that. Hector Delgado, might be a silly question, but why is it not common to see replacement shells with original colors? Legal reasons. I have no clue. My guess is that there would be enough original shells to go around for people that really wanted the clear, because those will be on eBay as originals. But after hearing feedback from people, I guess that's not really the case always. So, okay, so let's see what else we got here. This, we got the flap, which should just. The flap looks like it could pop in either way. It's the same on both sides. What else we got? That's cool. That looks good. Wow, what an improvement, right? Like like this is, I don't even have this thing bolted together. Look at this. It's cool. Okay. So I will fix this piece later. I want to super glue that, or maybe even epoxy it actually, and then kind of hope I could bring that back. But let me get the bottom piece on. And let me also check this power wire here. Did I screw that up? Is that enough of a channel? Do I put the power wire down first and the controller wire over it? Sasquatching time. I hate when I roll over on my belly. When I roll over on my phone, my belly hits the touchscreen and it makes an emergency 911 call. That's funny. It actually hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm sure I'm just one piece of cake away from that. Yeah, that's not working. So the case is the exact same. So it's not like. Do I just get really creative with this and just get this here? I can't. I just opened this. How am I not remembering how to do it? But that piece moves, so you want to do this. Oh, Martin wanted to let everybody know that there are stickers for power and reset and stuff, and he just forgot to ship them. Well, I mean, this is a pre-production unit, so I don't think anybody expected. Hopefully, nobody expected this to be final. I sure as heck didn't expect to forget where to put the power wire 10 minutes after I took it off. Anybody have any suggestions here? This seems like more complicated than it should be. I'm not on the wrong side, although that would have totally been plausible. Do I go on the edge and the outside? I mean, there might actually be enough space to just bolt it down. Hey, Mark. Thanks for swinging by, man. Reluctant Hero. I need this Famicom shell. It'll go well with Crix's RGB cartridge. Yeah, agreed. So I'm still getting some squishiness on the bottom, and I feel like it's this. Although there's no indentation in the cable. You know, like if it was that, right? Like let me just tuck this in real quick. All right. So if the cable was being pinched, there would be a mark here. Use the force. Okay. Yeah, there's no signs at all of the cable being pinched. So unless anybody thinks this is a dumb idea, I'm just going to leave it running right across the edge of the blue. There should be enough space, and without it, and I won't tighten that one. I'll tighten that one down last. But I can't anticipate a problem if I just squish that down. I didn't even see a mark on the cable. Phillips seems fine, and I'm just going to be very gentle with this last screw that's the closest to it. Okay, so all I'm missing here. Yeah, so that completely came off. So let me see how this looks just with one in and see if that'll fix it. Or see if that'll be good enough. Not fix it, obviously, but. Oh, okay. I feel less bad. I just put the slightest bit of pressure on that, and that thing broke off. So this is just older brittle plastic then. Okay. I feel less bad about that. I thought I might have, like, just manhandled it, but. You know what this is actually the perfect thing for? Hot glue. Because as much as we all made fun of it for a long time, shooting a dab of hot glue in there, just a little bit, like letting it sink to the bottom, pushing this in, and letting it dry upside down. This would keep this in place, but you're not going to want that to be permanent. So the next time you need to open this up, you just kind of wiggle and pop it right off. So I'm going to try that and see. I'm also going to save these tabs in case I need them. But let me throw this together and put it side by side with the original and see what you think. I'll get a cartridge too, so you can see it like that as well. Zoom in for you. I like that new one so much better. Maybe if the original Famicom shell was brand new, I would like it better, but this is just so cool. Let me grab a cartridge. These look familiar. Nice case. Also from Retro Gamer Store. Also works with Genesis cartridges. But let me grab my second light just to get a front. Yeah. Oh, wow. Do that one handed. This might. I maybe I'm speaking too soon just because it's new, which is totally plausible, but this might be my favorite Retro Game Restore case. Martin said there was going to be a sticker here so that you could see something, but also Graphics Gear does great work too. So, whatever Martin sends, I'm appreciative of, but I think that's also one of those things that like Graphics Gear does this, like stickers are their thing. So I'm sure we'll have options soon enough, but I mean, this is great. This is a pre-production shell. Martin, you do not need to send me a new one. This one is perfect. This is gorgeous. If you want to send me a label just so it matches up in any of the future pictures I show, but wow. Excuse me. Maybe we yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it stinks that I broke the sides off of this thing, but at the same time, I think my hot glue trick is going to work perfect. That is so cool. Oh, good question. Chad wants to know if there's any chance of clear controller shells, and I think the problem would be controller 2, because you would have to mold one back and two tops. So, okay, I am going to go get that SNES part, and I'll leave this here while I go out and get it, and we'll see what it looks like. All right. So, I don't have any purple on me, right? All right, so let me put these. That is just so cool. I absolutely love this. Let me show it from all angles. Oh, that's cool. That over here. Here's the old yellow one with the two tabs I gotta figure out. And so let's take a look for a few things. First, is this dry? It appears to be. I'm not getting any purple on me when I do that. I guess it's probably the best way to tell, right? I mean, that's got to be dry, right? If that's not dry, I don't know what else I could say. So let's realize we'll have to take that out to easily put the thing back in. So it's no big deal. I'll just show the trick. The message a friend here. Okay, so we're gonna snap my madness right back on here. Light pipe is in place. That's in place. Oh, oh, I think I like it. I think I like it. All right, let me. I kind of have to do this at an angle. I wish I could do it in a way that you all could see it better, but Live is hard sometimes. So put the pipe through. Make sure you're lined up with the correct one. Okay. And then put it on the other side. And you can feed this through. And then pull that back. Wait. All right. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. What do you all think? I'm so glad I did that. Let me shine the light on it. Oh, that's so much better than I thought it was going to be. Oh man, let me take another look. So I don't think another coat is needed. I like how the purple sticks through here. I'm glad I went all the way to the edge with that. I could be OCD and take this whole thing apart and get this gray spot purple, except see, yeah, perfect. Okay, so the gray spot on the another gut hold. The gray spot here, I think, is very cool, and I think it would be neat if I painted it purple. Except all of the gray under here, I think this works out perfect. Purple in the front, and then all purple buttons, and then the gray here kind of matches everything. So I like that. Can the ribbon go behind that part in the front? I don't think so. It snapped pretty solid, so I don't think so. So let me screw this together, and maybe even power it on to see how it looks with the power light on. Yeah, so $10 wasted on these markers. Hopefully my nieces will appreciate them. But it turns out purple paint my wife already had was the win. So and Mark included brand new screws, so no more snapping off the heads. Yeah, Ragnarok. That was legit just paint that my wife had laying around. She's her hobby is art stuff, so she's got tons of paint. My hobby's guitar, so I just got guitars that look like weapons hanging from my wall. No, I don't ever dejitter my SNESs. Because that's kind of a scalar problem, not really an SNES problem. So I always deal with that on the other end. But I completely understand. You just bought a brand new TV. It's gorgeous. You love it, but it won't work with SNES. Yeah, that's obviously a good move. But I like to solve the problem on the other end if possible. Come on, come on, get in there. There we go. So the EXT port, maybe, I guess, if there was extra time to do a mold, sure. Except the back port is it's a lot more complicated than just making a mold, because everything that you've seen here today, the only tool that you needed was a Phillips head screwdriver, the game bit, and some snips. That's it. And if you needed to replace this, you would have to desolder this part, and then they'd have to find some kind of solution for power. So I don't think I think it was the right move doing it the way they did, but I mean, this is cool. Oh, Chad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, um, I could totally do that. I might have to now. I might have to. I'll see. I'll see if a friend wants this one. I have a strong suspicion. I was trying to get them on. Uh, I have a strong suspicion one friend is going to want this, but if not, then I'll probably just sell it just to get my money back for the $100 I spent on the SNES. But I think that would be worth it. And I already have the paint out and everything, so um, wow, it's been a long, long time since I have desoldered one of those. I think you also have to desolder the RF box too, right? I might skip the back, to be honest. But this thing, yeah, why not? Let me add that to it. I think that would be a cool match. I think the power would be a lot more of a challenge, though. I think that's more of a project. And worst case scenario, I think it's dumb. Uh, you can't even see the EXT port on the bottom. So if I screw this up, whatever. Way less nerve wracking to do this than it was the top or the front piece. Me. It's tricky to do this without getting paint all over yourself. Let me flip this side. Fuck it. Side, pan the front. So I'm not gonna just stand here and wait for this to dry with all of you on stream. So I'm gonna wrap it up now, but I'm gonna show while that's drying, I'm gonna show the results of today and make sure I don't get purple on anything. All right. We have purple paint is called Basics Acrylic Color Deep Violet. I could be 20 years old for all I know. I was sitting in a box. But all right, we have pre-production purple shell. So why is it pre-production? It's not fully polished yet. There's a few little things that are different. So like you'll see scratches. And, well, you probably won't actually because it's really good. You can sort it. If I hit it at the exact light, see some scratches. But the color I love. I think I like this color a lot. I like the paint that I chose to match the buttons. That was just luck. I wish I had some kind of bragging rights for that, but I do not. This is just awesome. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's new. That feels like my favorite retro game restore shell so far. I just think this is so cool, and I love looking in, especially now you're looking in at the mod board that I put in. Yeah, that one's great. And we almost forgot. Hold on, I gotta have to make some room here. Can't believe I almost forgot. Still running, baby. Still running, and honestly, no more or less hot than every other Genesis I've seen. That looks beautiful. Oh man, I like it a lot. Back port is awesome. Oh, I just pulled that out a little bit. All right, so just be careful putting pressure on the back port. They could, if you jam your giant hand in there, it could pop it out. I could fix that in 2 seconds though. But yeah, this is cool. And let me see if I have. I don't know if I have it handy, so just give me 1 second. So I think those came with a thumb screw. Oh, I need the damn light back. Yeah. So that you, but I put that piece in there, so that should be fine. How weird does that look? Like good weird, but weird. Dr. Claw, I'll drop it in the chat one more time, and I will update the I'll update the description with this as soon as it's over as well. But that's the one I'm using, and there might be new ones coming out. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of funny with the power base converter. But this is gorgeous. I love it. So before I go, does anybody have any questions at all about any of this stuff? In fact, I'm gonna hang out and clean up a little bit. So if any questions come in, I'll just be able to answer right away for you. RC, is it because there's no metal shield on the bottom? I'm not sure what you mean. Could you just maybe reword it, and I'll try to figure it out. Monty, I could answer that one for you. No, still time to order. The links are in the description of this video right here. Let me double check that I remember. Yeah, they're all right there. So if you click on the retrorgb.link/clear Genesis, you could pre-order, and wait a minute. There should have been a drop-down menu for this, actually, but crap. Let me double check this. All right, I'll have to talk to Ryan. He's going to need to add a drop-down menu, I believe, to this. But yeah, that's it. Potential for Sega CD clear shells. Oh no, that would be a nightmare. I mean that. I don't mean to be rude. It's telling people to take apart a Sega CD is just asking for trouble as is. So I couldn't even imagine trying to do a case swap on a beat up old Sega CD. I mean, I would love to see it, and I'd buy it, but I think that would be a scary risk. Can I show how much of the PCB is visible on the SNES? Absolutely. Ryan, the heatsink comes with the Genesis shell. That's an easy one, so I'll just show that first. I have not done any actual heat tests other than grabbing this after playing Virtua Racing on loop for 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever. It didn't seem any better or worse than the original, but so just keep that in mind. But I have a feeling it's going to be fine. And I still need to add the wires for this, but I will show all of them off one more time too. Dan, is there anyone aware of a good place to get a front sticker emblem for the Famicom? Martin said, I believe he's going to be including these in the final design. Let me remove these so you can. I'll just show you every angle. I know the SNES was the one the other person asked for. I'll get to that right away. I'm sorry. That looks pretty awesome. Here is the SNES without the RF shield on the bottom. So that's kind of neat. We'll soon have a purple matching expansion port door. Here's the sides. The eject mechanism is going to take up a lot of space. And on top of that, there's two things on the bottom that would also prevent you from seeing it. So you can't really see the motherboard up here. The sound module on the older ones is always going to be there. And this heatsink, I don't know if there's going to be a way to remove it. That voltage regulator you can see there, there's like a $10, $12 one that supposedly doesn't have interference and doesn't require a heatsink. So we would have to check those out and do some serious tests. But I haven't had time, or I haven't been able to find them because of the part shortage. Let's see what else. Ragnarok, how do I think purple compared to Smoke SNES? After seeing this, I think I like it better. I wouldn't have guessed that, but just seeing the front ports, seeing the buttons. I mean, maybe I even do this too, and leave the rest of it gray, but do that as purple. has that same color purple front. I don't know. I'll have to sit on that one for a minute. But yeah, that is. I think this would be my choice. But just no wrong choice. It's whatever you want. Dan B, if only the Famicom had clear controller shells. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Martin said they were looking into it. It's going to be super expensive because he said there would have to be 4 shells. The second player front and back, and the first player front and back, because it'd be slightly different. So it's a possibility, but oh, Nacho Sonic, thank you very much. Genesis lives. Joe of GameSack says the SNES was as slow as the ColecoVision. Is that true? I don't know. Joe says stuff just to say stuff sometimes, and then if you say stuff back, he gets all upset. So I don't know. Who knows what Joe's talking about half the time. His video about cleaning cartridges was amazing, though. I definitely recommend that one. That's the perfect fit for his sense of humor. So Genesis, SNES, this. Any other questions before I wrap this up? Cleaning up the mess I made, so I'm going to hang out for another minute or two. Any questions anybody's got? Happy to answer. Save my old screws. And in case anybody's just joining, this is what the original SNES that I worked on looked like. It has some pieces of the original that still look good, so hopefully those go to a good home. And this one, this shell and this set of stuff, all right, I guess in these screws as well, these are going to Russ Lyman to be painted so that we don't waste a perfectly fixable shell. Back here. RC, that screwdriver is so large for this job. You need to put a lot of pressure in when you're screwing down self-tapping screws in brand new plastic. So while I'm totally comfortable using it to unscrew stuff on older consoles, what I normally do is I screw it in like halfway and then I turn it the rest myself just to not put too much pressure. Um, Also the original Genesis shell. This one and all of its pieces are also going to Rust to be painted, as well as some of the other Retro Gamers First shells from the last live stream I did. Ooh, good question. Puppies on Acid. Hey, Martin, are there plans for an SNES Junior shell? I know those probably wouldn't sell as many as a regular SNES, but that's still a great question. Leo, do I have any other HDMI DACs in mind that I'll test in the future? Yes, absolutely. There's a ton on my plate to look at, and some of the newer ones support different stuff. So I would probably take a look at those when they become more in stock or drop in price, whichever happens first. To be honest with you, which is always a trick now in part shortage. DNB, was the Famicom you swapped the one I tested a week ago to compare audio with the FPGA AliExpress clone? Yes, this was this exact same one. I'll show you again. Let me put that over here so I don't screw it up. That was the exact one. It's so funny to see the yellowing on these. Another little trick that I do. I don't want to lose those plastic pieces in case my hot glue trick turns out to be stupid. which happens. I'm all right with that. So I am going to put them in here. I have a flap that I put on the tape to make sure it's easy to come out. There you go. Now those pieces aren't lost. I got the flap in case I ever need to pull them out. And because I used Scotch tape and not painter's tape, it'll probably leave some goo on it. But, I mean, who cares, right? The only thing that I would ever do with this again is give it away, try a RetroBrite experiment, whatever else. So, yeah. Now, this is a sticker, right? Not like a embossed piece of something. So I can't, like, heat that up and pull it out, right? That would be kind of neat. I would be willing to try that if somebody thinks that that's worth it. But if I'm just gonna screw it up, I'd rather not. Okay, Martin said if they can get a pre-order of like 400, then they could probably do a one-time run for SNES Junior. That'd be interesting. Ozzy just fired up the Model 1 Genesis with Batman. Have fun, my friend. RC, when do we get a clear Virtual Boy shell? People could really appreciate it. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to just go put this stuff away. But thank you all so much for joining. Thanks to Martin for jumping in. I know it's a huge time zone difference, and I guess I'll just make sure I leave everybody with this. All came out awesome, and I think this one stole the show. Honestly, I was not expecting to like it that much, so that's very cool. Thanks, everybody.